All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome out to Atlanta Motor Speedway, where Speed Racing Network proudly presents the Hotlanta 150. Dean Brummett is up here in the booth with myself, Sean Griffith. Welcome out, everybody, to week number 10 of the Xfinity series. Dean, it is starting to heat up out there.
Yeah, Sean, definitely starting to get into the nitty-gritty of this season here, buddy. You know, we've gotten to go to so many different types of track types, from the flat 1.5 miles of Kentucky and Chicagoland and Las Vegas to finally tonight we get some high bank, multi-groove 1.5 mile racing for 100 laps here tonight in Atlanta.
Yeah, everybody's excited about this multi-groove update that iRacing just came out with. It just allows drivers to pretty much move anywhere on the track. So there's a lot better side-by-side racing out there, which was to be expected already at Atlanta, but now even more.
Yeah, Sean, I had a chance to test a little bit this week in between the trucks, the Cup cars, and I definitely tested a little bit here for the Xfinity cars tonight. And I'll tell you, man, those trucks, they put on a great show. The Cup cars, super fast. You get to those. You get to run through those grooves a lot quicker, but man, I tell you, these Xfinity cars, of all of them, as it has shown all season long, these are some of the toughest vehicles to drive. And tonight, I think we're going to see much of the same.
Yeah, they're just really, really hard to handle, which is why most drivers, the ones that just love to get their talent out there on the track, love these Xfinity cars over the Cup cars, which are newer. And I'm not going to say easy to drive, but they help out a lot more.
Yeah, I really think, Sean, when it comes down to it, these Xfinity cars, more than any of them, they take a different type of a skill level because you have to drive these cars so gingerly. Sometimes they're going to be super duper loose on you. Sometimes they're going to be super duper tight. There's just you never know what you're truly going to get in these cars until you get out there on track. But I think whoever's going to wind up winning it tonight is going to be the guy who has the absolute most patience throughout this race and can pick and choose those multi-grooves as these tires wear out.
Well, man, you heard it here first from the guy that was the runner-up in the league last season where we ran these Xfinity cars, Mr. Dean Brummett himself. But let's talk about this league a little bit. We do have 20 weeks, but our cutoff for the playoffs is week 13. We're in week 10. Man, we are almost there.
Yeah, Sean, I remember last year, at this point of the season, it was getting down to just the absolute best of the best starting to rise their way up. And, if you're one of those guys that's sitting there right on the cut, it can be tough to go through and make it in. If you're one of those guys who's barely on the way in, you got to have perfect races just to not knock yourself out. And, for a long season like what we have here with Speed Racing Network, we got 20 weeks. We run fixed setup, so everybody's got the same cars each week, one fast repair. So if you go out and you knock the wall down early, you can go through, get yourself a new car. We saw plenty of those being used last week at Phoenix. And for these guys, Sean, it's about the pride and it's about the dough. They pay $10 a week to enter here, just like that they're racing at their local tracks. You get to pay an entry fee. We pay out each week. We pay out at season's end, $500 for our champion. And then we have something a little different that not a lot of places do. We have a 5-person team championship. So you take your 5 drivers, and at the end of the season, if your 5 drivers have accumulated more points all around than the other team's 5 drivers, that pays out $200 as a team championship as well.
Yeah, and those teams really do a lot out on the track to help each other out. They communicate in the same Discord channel. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically a chat channel where they can talk to each other during the race and nobody else can hear them. And so they can strategize, they can decide when they're pitting, they can tell each other where they're at on the track, they can help each other out, and that just makes the racing even better.
Yeah, Sean, and the cool thing I think that comes with this, not even so much the money, the racing, the pride, but a lot of these guys have formed some very, very close bonds with one another. You go through, you have guys like in the Cup Series, like myself and Rowell Smith Racing, myself, Jake Rowell, Jacob Smith, Shane Good, Scott Healy. We all kind of. We all kind of hang out outside of the racing scene together each and every night. And man, it's an awesome league to get involved in. If you got an open spot, if you have a chance to race, I would suggest it to anybody. Come out and give us a shot.
Definitely, and we'll talk more about the teams here in just a second. We'll introduce all the teams to you, but right now let's talk about what's really important out there to these guys, and that's the money, the pride, and that all-important entry into the Cup Series race.
Yeah, Sean. Last year I got a couple of these first place finishes myself. First place is going to pay you $50 and an entry into our Cup Series, where my team, Roel Smith Racing, races, and you got guys like me who like to think that we know what we're doing at least. Second place is paying out $30. Third place is $20. Fourth is $15, and then fifth and sixth you get your entry fee back.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, we're talking. I think we've got 34 guys on the track right now, so you just have to beat 6 guys out there, do that consistently, then you're going to get your money back. But all of this all comes together because we get points each race, and then we go into the playoffs. So the top 15 drivers after 13 weeks are going to get into the playoffs. And when you get to the playoffs, you're racing for some big money.
Yeah, Sean, and I'm one of those people who the playoffs in the motorsports, they have kind of slowly grown on me. I was a traditionalist for so long saying, man, just let it be whoever's the most dominant at the end of the season. But, it really keeps guys on their toes. You may be one of the fast ones week in and week out, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be super duper fast at the end of the season when it counts. And, if you're that guy who is the most consistent from start of the season to the end, you get to pull that $500 first place championship trophy pay out there. Second place is still going to get $300. Third will make $200. Fourth will make $150. Fifth will get $100. And hey, Sean, you mentioned put all 5 team members into the top 5 there. Guarantee yourself that team championship for $200.
Man, there's a lot of money on the line out there, but not just money. We also have prizes for certain things in the league, and one of those things is the cleanest driver. So if you're the cleanest driver out there for the entire league, and there is a stat in order to figure that out, then Butt Kicker is going to give you a free butt kicker. And for those of you that don't know what a butt kicker is, it will change the way you race. It hooks up to your racing rig, to your chair, and then, I mean, it basically vibrates as you're turning. It helps you feel like you're in the car.
Yeah, and I, Sean, have never had the opportunity to go through and use one. Unfortunately, my iRacing rig is not as lucrative as what so many other guys may be. That free butt kicker, an awesome incentive to try and drive clean, maybe not stick your nose somewhere it doesn't belong throughout the season. And, if you're someone who's been involved in a few of these incidents throughout the year and just may be out of the running, you can always head to Butt Kicker's website and use our discount code SRNVS20 for 20% off of your order of your own butt kicker.
Well, if you have to learn how to become a cleaner driver, then the place to go is to go to a sim racing coach. And we've got one of the best ones out there. We've got Kane Cook. And those of you that don't know who Kane Cook, you don't know iRacing very well, because Kane Cook is in the Coca-Cola Series, which is the highest series you can be in. They're racing for $330,000 this year. And this guy is the best at one thing, starting from the back, working his way all the way to the front.
And Sean, it's definitely hard to do. If you're going through and you're running a full length race, just like NASCAR would, 200, 300, 500, or even in one case, 600 miles, sometimes it can be a little easier to work your way to the front, just how things happen. But most of the time with these races in iRacing, they're short. They're 50 to 100 miles at the most. And so to be able to work your way from the back to the front as many times as what he has is just an absolutely impressive feat.
Oh, yeah, man. And he's done it so many times. He has more hard charger awards than anybody else in iRacing history. And so he's the best of the best, man. So definitely go to speedracingnetwork.com. Book your session with Kane Cook. I know one of our drivers in the truck series, Joe Ruggles, this guy, he's worked with Kane Cook for the last 3 weeks. He's got 2 pole positions, and then he slotted up 8th in this past race. So he has gone from a mid-pack racer to a front-of-the-pack racer.
Yeah, and there's just no better feeling, Sean, than to go through and sometimes with it, you can take guys who have been on iRacing for years and years, and they think that they know everything that there is, and you get yourself a pro like Kane Cook to go out there, spend maybe an hour, 2 hours with them, and you can pick up on just the tiniest little thing that you're doing wrong, and it can make all the world of a difference at a track such as Atlanta tonight.
Yes, it can. And so we do have some drivers that have kind of figured this thing out really well in this league. And the leader of this league right now, Zachary Taylor, in the number 14 car for Tank Racing. And so these standings that you see here are the standings as they currently are, with drop weeks included. And so in this league, we allow you to have 3 bad weeks, basically. So you take your 10 best weeks, and then that's your score from where that is. And Zachary Taylor, 11 points ahead of Ryan Ducom, Jovi Sagiped right behind there, Gregory Joyner not too far back either. But look down towards the bottom of this list. This is where it's going to get really interesting, Dean.
Yeah, and Sean, I tell you here, one of the or two of the most impressive things I really see. Well, I guess you'd almost have to call it 3. When you take a look at this top 16 drivers, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tank drivers. You have 3 RSR drivers. You have 3 Bronco drivers. I mean, you've got a couple teams in here that, if I'm one of those guys on the outside looking in, and I know how good that these teams are, I know I've got an uphill climb, especially, like I said, when you've got Tank Racing that's got their 14 car up there in the points lead. He's got to be spreading some knowledge around with the rest of the team.
Oh, yeah. 4 of their 5 drivers are already in the cut, which is absolutely unreal. But look at the outside the cut area here. So Nathaniel Mon, only 1 point out of the cut. Greg Olenek, Mr. Moo and Brew himself, is only 11 points out of the cut. Nicholas Goen, he's got some chance to get in there as well. So nobody's really out of this thing. I mean, these guys down towards the bottom of the list, they've got a lot of work to do. But look at the left side of that list. They all have a realistic shot of getting in.
Yeah, and Sean, you're exactly right. You take a look at these guys. I feel like kind of the cut line here with 3 races left. I hate to count anybody out, but I kind of feel like that cut line right about there, maybe the 22nd, 23rd spot. And for those guys a little further down, 42, 38, 34, they're going to have the 3 most perfect races that they've ever run and have a little luck go their way. But Sean, we've seen some crazier things happen in the world of auto racing.
Yeah, and I'll point out one name on this list. So Danny Dow. So Danny Dow was season 1 of Speed Racing Network, or Mid-South Madness is what it was called back then. He was the champion of season 1. This guy knows how to win a race. It's just he's missed 3 weeks, and so that's why he's so far down the list. So 42 points for him. He gets 1 or 2 wins in these next 4 races, and he is in this thing.
Yeah, and like you said, Sean, I mean, with missing 3 races, that's your 3 drop weeks right there. So you've got to have these next 3 races to be absolutely wonderful, absolutely perfect. And like I said, it's definitely going to be interesting when we get to that cutoff.
Yep. Now, we talked about the teams a little bit. Let's talk about their standings and the teams a little bit more. Brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Eat better, feel better. And if you've got a Tropical Smoothie Cafe around you, I encourage you, go and get a Beach Bum. It is absolutely to die for. An amazing smoothie. So take a look at Bronco Motorsports. They just took the team lead 2 weeks ago, and now they're starting to distance themselves. Tank Racing, who was in the team lead 2 weeks ago, now all the way down to 3rd.
Yeah, Sean. And, you had the rebranding last week with Rowell Smith Racing, or a couple weeks ago with RSR, and in the process of doing so, those guys have kind of found themselves a new win. Tank Racing, they can't get complacent, right? They got all their guys there in the top 15, but you just can't get comfortable. You got Rev Racing there in 4th, the home team, Team SRN in 5th, R2D2 Motorsports in 6th, and thanks to my broadcast partner, Jake Rowell, I'm not going to butcher it this week, R&D Motorsports rounding out the team standings.
Yeah, and let's talk to you about each one of these teams. Again, brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe with the team introductions. And we'll start off with our leaders, Bronco Motorsports. And man, they had a killer week last week, picking up the win with Rhett Tucker.
Yeah, and Sean, I tell you what, they had a killer week all the way around in terms of RSR. They won the truck race last week, won the Xfinity race last week. They won the truck race again last night with their Truck Series driver Cole Martin. You've got Rhett Tucker, last week's winner there, the 81, Nathaniel Mon in 84, Gregory Joyner in the 85, Nick Gowen in the 88, and Brad Williams in the 89.
Yeah, great team there put together by Chris Massey, who is up in the Cup League. But you're also going to see some more of those Bronco Motorsports drivers in this race from other leagues, just kind of bouncing in and checking us out here. But let's talk about Rowell Smith Racing. And man, you have a lot of authority on this team because you race for Rowell Smith Racing in the Cup Series.
Yeah, unfortunately, my advice of hey, just win it all, it didn't really pay off that well. But Sean, these guys, some great guys I've gotten to know very very well. Jovi Sagipad in the 3, Ryan Ducom in the 7, Dustin Scruggs in the 11, Troy Tuckmeyer in 32, and Josh Marcy there in the 35. Like I said, these guys are sitting second in points, ready to pounce on that lead at a moment's notice.
Yeah, just watch out for those top two, especially Jovi Sagiped, Ryan Ducom. They've been up towards the front pretty much the entire league season. So beware. They're right there on the tail of everyone out there on the track. And here we go with Tank Racing. Now, Tank, again, they've got 4 of the 5 drivers kind of in the playoff slots right now as it sits. And look at Zachary Taylor, a couple wins there. Devin Zimmerman, one of the finalists in last year's Mid-South Madness League. Derek Da Silva has always been a strong driver, just kind of gotten into some bad luck here. Mike Lepicki was the runner-up in season 1 of Mid-South, season 1 of Mid-South Madness. And then Emerson Ardon also in the playoff hunt as well. So, man, I mean, nobody's weak here.
No, Sean. You get to these top 3, and it's like so many other professional sports. You go through and you find the top 3 teams, and buddy, it's going to be hard to knock them off. And like I said, if you're some of those guys in Tank towards the bottom of that points list, you're looking to have a good night just to try and build your cushion a little bit heading into the final 2 weeks of the season. Because, buddy, you got a couple you got a couple interesting tracks coming up in the short tracks.
Well, man, let's talk about Rev Racing here, because this is one of those teams where coming in preseason, they had an off-season program where they had an actual tournament to figure out who was going to race on this team. And right now they're sitting back and forth, but they've been making gains each week. So they're kind of on the upswing. What do you think they can do to get back in this thing?
Sean, I think they just have to have the brakes go their way, man. I mean, week in and week out, we mentioned the names of Aaron Gerwitz and Greg Olenek there, and, they're so close to being able to put all the pieces together. They've just had some terrible luck. 66 of Josh Siegfried and 2 of Brad Davis. Kind of the same thing. You've had Marshall Stanley in the number 25 car, who he's got 1 win, and truthfully should have a second one, but some guy wound up stealing it from him down in Homestead. I don't know who that is, but
yeah, we're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it.
No, not even going to talk about it. But this team has been very consistent this year. But like I said, they've kind of had a Ricky Bobby season. They're either all the way up front or they're wrecking. There's really no in between right now.
Well, now let's talk about the factory team, the home team. Speed Racing Network has Team SRN. Now, we're kind of down in the standings, not going to lie about that one, but you do have a great lineup here featured by Bo Tiffany and Danny Dow.
Yeah, and then you've also got Wayne Rayburn there in the 12, Daniel Keith Jr. in the 23, and Stan Hausman in the 39. I know these guys have experience in these cars. Just, I sound like a broken record each week, Sean, but sometimes you have guys that no matter what they do, they can't get away from the wrecks when they happen.
Well, man, we have got some big news on this next team. R&D Motorsports has combined forces with R2D2 Motorsports. So they each lost a couple of drivers, so they decided to build a team together and make it under the R&D Motorsports banner. Leading the way, Daniel Bowdler, who just an amazing driver. He is actually ranked second in all-time wins in SRN history.
Yeah, Daniel Bowdler has been hard after it in terms of going out here to try and capture these victories, these wins here, Sean. And, like you mentioned, both teams kind of had a couple guys that drop out. And that's sometimes the unfortunate part. You try to go through and you fill spots, and it's like being the boss of any job. You may not have the best person for that lineup, but these guys got together and said, hey, you've got drivers, we've got drivers. Let's just throw them together and let's go ahead and ride out this season. And, you're down in the standings this season. You may not make too much of a splash here, but hey, there's always next year, and carry as much momentum as you can into it. And who even knows, Sean, with this many races left in the year and our team standings not getting a reset, these guys could be at the top by the time it's over.
Yeah, and you got to look at Daniel Bowdler, who just lost the lead as far as all-time wins in Speed Racing Network history just this past week to Jake Rowell, your teammate and our broadcast partner. So he definitely wants that lead right back, and he made the point the other night that nobody has won more in the Xfinity cars than Daniel Bowdler, and that is the truth. And so Daniel's got a good shot at this tonight.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to see how it's going to play out, Sean, without a doubt. And, we got Bowdler's shown a lot of speed this week, but some other guys that have shown a lot of speed. We have a ton of independent drivers tonight. You have the 42 of James Holzer, the 82 of Michael York, the 69 of Vincent Cortez, the 18 of Bobby Anderson, Chris Massey coming down from the Cup Series this evening in the 83, Byron McDonald, our Sunday broadcast partner, coming up from the Truck Series, Tristan Bailey in the 86, Justin Boyles in the 08, Brandon Browning from Filthy Five Motorsports coming down to run the 20 car this week. And last but not least, Tyler Markle there in the 41.
Yeah, but we got one more driver to talk about, and that's our Truck Series winner from last night. Cole Martin put on a show last night, and it looks like right here, right now, he's slotted in the third position out there on the grid, so he's coming up here to make some waves in the Xfinity Series.
He's making his name known for sure, Sean. He had a last lap incident at Las Vegas a few weeks ago, so if not for that, the man may very well have just won 3 in a row Truck Series races. So he's definitely coming up here to make his name known in the Xfinity Series. And going out there to the grid, we've got Daniel Bowdler there on pole this evening. Just talked about him. Rhett Tucker in second, last week's winner. Cole Martin, just as you mentioned, in third. Nicholas Goen there in fourth. So you got you got 2 Bronco cars right there in the top 4, but 3 Bronco affiliated. Devin Zimmerman from Tank Racing had a very good qualifying effort this evening, and Justin Boyles, an independent there, coming in 6th.
Yeah, Brandon Browning in 7th as an independent in the 20 car. Josh Marcy from Royal Smith Racing up in 8th. Ryan Ducombe also from Royal Smith Racing in 9th. Tristan Bailey, an independent, but he drives for Bronco Motorsports, but he is an independent tonight. James Holzer, who, by the way, is the points leader down in the up in the Cup Series, so he is in this thing, so watch out for him. And then Danny Dow himself back there in 12th for Team SRN.
Sean, I tell you what, Atlanta is absolutely a driver's track, one of the most fun ones on iRacing, one of the most difficult ones to try to learn. It's going to be eating up tires this evening, and with this multi-groove racing, these cars are going to be spread out everywhere looking for grip, trying to get out of that dirty air. If you guys have ever tuned into Speed Racing Network before, or any iRacing broadcast, the biggest thing you'll probably notice most of the time is a lot of these tracks, these guys will go through, they'll kind of get fed down onto one line, and that's pretty much it. They're fighting for that one lane, but iRacing recently had an update this week to kind of take a more realistic approach to aerodynamics and grip. And so, like I said, when we go through here green tonight, Sean, you're going to start seeing these guys immediately spread out, trying to get that top lane worked in to carry as much momentum as what they can in these super tight race cars.
All right, well, Dean, it's that time. So who you got tonight, man?
Oh, man, Sean, this is a tough one. I hate putting broadcaster curses on anybody, but I tell you what, man, I talked with Daniel Bowdler earlier this week, and I hate to take the cheap, easy way out. Man, I've got to put my money this week on Bowdler. He's got to get some good luck to him.
Man, I'm not going to go too far away from you. Last week, I picked Rhett Tucker to win, and he pulled through. He made that win. I'm picking him again tonight in that 81 car on the outside front row. Rhett Tucker going to victory lane tonight.
I'll tell you what, Sean, I will give Rhett Tucker one thing. I don't know him too awful well, haven't had a chance to get to know him. That chrome blue that he's got on that paint scheme is absolutely beautiful, but another beautiful sight is the pace car pulls in, the field goes into the hands of Daniel Bowdler, and we are green flag racing here in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, we are moving already, and you can see Daniel Bowdler gets out to a great start.
Yeah, Sean, that's definitely the best part about being that control car is being able to get on that gas pedal quicker than anybody as they work their way down through turn 1 and 2. You already begin to see these guys too wide, and Daniel Bowdler kind of loves it behind him. You carry a ton of momentum off this high side. Let's just kind of see the differing lines as they go into turn number 1, or turn number 3, rather.
Yeah, man, out there in the chat, Brooke Lemke saying good luck to everybody. Greg Olenek saying Hotlanta, baby, because that's where we're at tonight, Hotlanta. And then HDRL Formula 1, Vincent's #1 supporter out there in the chat.
And Sean, I'll tell you what, right there, I don't know how much grip there is down in the grass, but Brandon Browning just tried to get his left sides as far down there as he could. Hopefully it helped him turn a little better. He's stuck on the bottom, but your pick, Rhett Tucker, starting to stalk down Daniel Bowdler a little bit. You can just see how much speed he carries on the high line, maybe about a half a groove higher than what Bowdler is. But Bowdler, when he moves up, it's just going to put like a dump truck worth of air on the nose of that 81. He kind of tucks out a little higher down the straightaway just to get a little clean air.
Yeah, we got a gaggle of cars back here is what I like to call it. You got Devin Zimmerman right in the middle of this thing, driving for Air Force Gaming as well as for JDRF at the same time. So Devin Zimmerman out there having a good run already up in 7th.
And up front, Rhett Tucker sticking his nose under Daniel Bowdler, try to go for the lead here. He jogged down to that low line, and Bowdler's just going to carry a little more momentum. You see how much that high line lets you pull somebody. When it comes to passing in these cars tonight, it's going to be tough, Sean. Usually you try your darndest to get to somebody's left rear, kind of dive it in there better than they can. But tonight, you're going to be fighting for that right rear. If not, you're going to be driving that car as hard as you can into the corner, not lifting, hoping to slide up in front of a guy and him give you a little bit of slack here as Rhett's going to try to drop down to that inside again. He makes a little bit of ground up, but just watch how much speed Bowdler's going to pull on him out of the corner.
Yeah, every time you go low like that, you lose momentum. Now, yes, you might be able to get your nose up underneath there, but getting all the way around him and clearing him is something completely different, and you're burning up your tires at the same time.
Yeah, the funny part is, Sean, with a 1.5 mile track like this, even though you got a lot of race to go, it's definitely not time to use it. Sometimes when it comes down to the end of a race, you might wind up seeing this thing turn into almost a short track where you go through and get a little chrome horn action.
Oh, we got Gregory Joyner. Let's see where he's at here. I'm told that he had a little trouble back there. Yeah, he is awfully slow there, so he must have gotten up into the wall. We'll try to get back to it under the next caution, but Daniel Bowdler still leads the way up front.
Sean, I've always appreciated clean air is the best air, no matter what type of race car you're in. And, when it comes to these guys out here on the track right now, I mean, it's kind of funny for me looking at where so many of these guys started. Usually you have yourself a big mover or two at the start of a race, but most of these positions, these guys are pretty much right where they started. Justin Boyles.
We got wrecking going on.
Big wreck here in the back, Sean. Cars are going everywhere, flipped upside down. Caution is out. Oh my goodness, there was cars everywhere, sir.
Oh yeah, they're all over the place. Huge wreck, and remember, everybody only gets one fast repair tonight, so that is going to cause some serious heartache for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, Sean. I mean, for the guys who are up front, they're happy because it means 4 brand new tires more than likely. But let's take a look here, Sean, at the Sandwich Man Racing and Sports Memorabilia Rec Replay. You can check them out on Shopify.
And we're trying to get the view here. I mean, we kind of got it a little bit after the fact there. Let's see if we can't go back and get a little bit better view. And see where this all started.
One car got tight, just got up into the wall.
That's the 66, yeah. So that's Joshua Siegfried of Rev Racing. So we're going to go back and we're going to look at it from his point of view here.
Yeah, I'd say, Sean, he probably gets a little tight here. Looks like he's...
he got nudged,
right rear
yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing, Sean. On brand new, fresh tires, yeah, you might be able to get away with going 3 wide for a moment, but when you get a situation like that, he kind of gets up there, looked like he got just a very tiny touch to the inside of him of Danny Dow, and man, that upsets the nose of the car. It sends you into the wall, and then everybody else is just kind of at the mercy of where the physics take you.
I'm trying to figure out. There was one car that just went haywire there. I'm trying to figure out which one it was. It may have been Nathaniel Mon. Let's go back and take a look from Nathaniel Mon's point of view here, because I think he goes flying. Oh yeah, he was up in the air there just for a little while.
Yeah, and Sean, I'll tell you, I've only ever had a chance to run virtual reality racing one time, but that is a surreal feeling there, man. Like, you don't have the weight of the car lifting you up in the air, but your brain and your eyes communicate with one another. And I don't know if he's using VR, but if he was, heaven help him, he was strapped in there, to say the least. Well, we've already got some strategy going on. Every single driver on the track pitted, except for this one, Greg Olenek, one of our broadcasters on Sunday night, trying a little bit of strategy early in the race. Yeah, Sean. And somebody got out there. just wound up going through and trying a strategy, go out there, lead him a lap, get him some sponsorship exposure. I think he kind of understood. He tried that last week at Phoenix, and it didn't work too awful well. So I think he's definitely going to take that cow car into the back and go ahead and take his tires, get him a little bit of sponsor exposure up front, and drop back to this thing here, man.
And again, we're doing points racing here, and he's 11 points outside the cut. He needs that bonus point for leading a lap. So that's probably what he was doing right there, just getting that one bonus point, because when we're as close as we are in those point standings, that could be all that matters.
Exactly, Sean. You don't want to be that guy that comes down to the end of the season, you miss it by 1 point, and you say, man, could I have given that, should I take that position, that chance that I gave it to the guy? Should I have stayed out on that one caution to lead that one lap? I mean, you just don't want to be the 1 point man.
And out there in the chat right now, Jeremy Duncan saying, go Tank Racing. So one of the Tank drivers from Wednesday night, so one of the truck drivers for Tank Racing, rooting on his team out there in the chat. So if you guys are out there watching us, don't be afraid to chat in there. We'll try to get it posted on screen if we possibly can. But right now, Daniel Badler still leads this thing. Rhett Tucker right on his heels. But look who's in third there, Dean.
Yeah, right there, Justin Boyle's an independent. He's so far. Nope, not quite. He was one of our biggest movers so far. I mean, he's moved up 3 spots. Right behind him, you have Josh Marcy, who's moved up 4 spots. But I mean, that's just kind of the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, Sean. These spots are going to be hard to come by, and you may not be able to go pick them off all at once. But man, sometimes if you can just get them one at a time, it's well worth it.
Man, biggest mover of the race right now, Brad Davis back here for Rev Racing. He is up 16 spots. Started off in the last position and has now worked his way all the way up to 17th.
Yeah, Sean, and I'd be curious to figure out how many of those spots that he had were a byproduct of missing that big wreck there on the front straightaway, and how many of them are him going through to make those passes. I'm not going to devalue any of those positions at all, because man, that's a huge move starting from the back and coming up like that, especially at a track like Atlanta and these cars.
Yeah, and out there in the chat right now, Brooke Lemke saying, go number 66. And so 66 was actually involved in that last wreck, Joshua Siegfried, but he's got a fast repair. He's right back there on the track, Brooke, so don't worry, he's still running.
Yeah, Sean, and that's the joy of having the fast repairs. Not a luxury that I'm very well used to in my Sunday night leagues, but doesn't much matter here. The pace car is off, and Daniel Badler's back on that gas pedal. Green flag back out here in Atlanta.
Yeah, and just to make a quick little note, interesting absence here tonight. We don't have our points leader, Zachary Taylor, out there on the track at all.
Sean, I mean, that is rough, man. I mean, I didn't even notice that, but for the team and for the individual standings, as it looks like here, Boyles is going to go try the inside here for Rhett Tucker. This is about the only time you're going to try to make this move work is when you're coming up to speed. Daniel Badler is going to have him 2x2, but man, he's going to love seeing that in his mirror.
Yeah, and Justin, while it was a great move and it looked like it was going to work, has to fall in line there. Just cannot complete that pass on the bottom.
No, Sean, and it's kind of funny here. Sometimes on new tires you can make things happen, but I think where you're going to see the vast majority of your passes made tonight is going to be when these tires begin to get worn. A, who has held on to their tires the best, and B, who's put their car in the best position. Is Rhett Tucker's going to try this down the front straightaway. He might accidentally have a run to Daniel Badler's inside as we head for turn number 1.
Yeah, all it takes is one little tiny mistake from Daniel Badler, and in goes Rhett Tucker, and he's going to make the pass, but can he make it stick all the way through? No, Daniel Badler's going to take it right back.
And that's where you got to know your risk and reward right there, Sean, because Badler just carries so much more momentum off that high side. If you're Rhett Tucker, you can definitely poke that nose down in there, but you're kind of hoping for one of two things when you do. You're hoping it's good. The guy to your outside is going to make a mistake and maybe have to get out of the throttle a little more than you are. Or you kind of hope that as soon as you get your nose pass, you get to that scoring and timing mark and you see a caution. That's how you're going to have to pass tonight on these fresh tires. But I'm telling you, Sean, if we get this green flag run, you strap in, you're going to see the best of the best rise here easily.
Well, and you can see Rhett Tucker kind of hanging out to dry there on the bottom of the track as the guys on the top of the track just pass right by him, including Josh Marcy moving into third place.
Great run for Marcy this evening, Sean. I had an unfortunate run-in with him at Auto Club a few weeks ago. Oh, car in the wall there. That was Rhett Tucker. He's hard in the front stretch wall.
Yeah, that is going to do a ton of damage. And so he is going to drop all the way. Oh, my goodness. He's dropping and dropping and dropping.
Yeah, Sean, that right front is hurt. You wonder how much damage he's got on that car as he falls in behind Brandon Browning. You know, the big thing right now is your car's hurt. Now the best thing that you can do is just regroup, try and hold as much track position as what you can, go back and try to get back at him. But, man, you're up at the front in the clean air, but now you're back here in the dirty stuff, and you're just kind of hoping you don't see another big one like you did earlier because you're in the thick of things now, buddy.
Yeah, well, keep in mind that he didn't use his fast repair in that first pit stop because he was not involved. And so he still does have that fast repair, but it is a lot easier to use that fast repair under caution than it would be if you're pitting under green.
Tell you what, Sean, dropping back here to fourth place, you got Tristan Bailey in this 86 car. He is moving up quite a bit. Started 10th. He's up to 4th, and he's got himself a little bit of a gap between he and the top 3. Running that. Oh, another car on the outside wall.
That's Nick Gowan. That's Nick Gowan out there on the outside. Bronco Motorsports running into the walls out here. That is a couple of Bronco Motorsports drivers.
Yeah, Sean, and you know, I keep preaching these tires, the cold tires, the hot tires, everything with these tires. You know, with this track, sometimes you have to have that outside lane.
Oh, the 21
down the backstretch.
That's Josh Marcy.
Oh, man, Josh Marcy was running third there, Sean. What happened?
Man, we're going to find out. It's still green flag, though. He's off the track, so the race is still going on. We'll go back and take a look at that here shortly if there is a caution. But unbelievably, the race is still going.
Yeah, Sean, looks like race control didn't see much of a reason for a caution there, just kind of a single car spin. And, you know, I know, like you said, we're going to go back, try and take a look at it when we can. I've got a little birdie over here telling me it looks like he just got a little tight, may have touched the wall. Yeah, he actually had gotten off the wall there, Sean. He had pulled up right to the back bumper of the 08, had dove it in very, very low. When he came off the corner, just kind of hit the wall down the front stretch, woed him up big time. He got in the middle of that traffic, tried to get low, and just wound up going around here, it looks like.
Well, while we are kind of spread out a little bit, let's go back and take a look and see what happened here with Josh Marcy.
Yeah, he had gotten into the front stretch wall a little bit, Sean. He looks like he falls in behind Holzer, tries to get low, and
Danny Dow got him.
Yeah, Sean, here's my thing. I don't think Danny Dow meant anything by that. I think Dow was carrying momentum, went to pass low, and I think at the same time he was trying to pass low, Marcy was trying to get low, and it just, you know, two cars can't occupy the same space. I don't think there was any malicious intent with that at all.
Well, that rec replay brought to you by Sandwich Man's Racing and Sports Memorabilia. Go and find them on Shopify and get one of their lunchbox specials, all sorts of die-cast models just for you or your friends.
I tell you what, Sean, actually I had a great opportunity the other day. What wound up happening was Sandwich Man had sponsored a race. And he had put some prizes up, everything like that, and a die-cast car being one of them, and just a little bit of cash there with it. And I was fortunate enough to win that race at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway on dirt last week, and in the process of doing so, I talked to him, and we kind of worked some things out. Instead of the cash, I actually wound up cashing it in for a lunchbox. He sent me my shipping label yesterday, I believe it was. So I've got some cool die-casts and some other memorabilia on the way, and I can't wait for it, man. It's just awesome to have a business like that to sponsor us. And, one that I'm now happy I can, to a degree, support there.
Yeah, you got Dylan Patterson tucking it right there behind Devin Zimmerman. Devin Zimmerman bailing out to the inside, saying, no, we're not playing that game. And he started floating up the track, and then he had to get on the brakes so he didn't run into Ryan Ducombe.
Yeah, Sean, this track right now, it's starting to kind of get a one groove feel to it. That groove just being the high lane, but if you're Devin Zimmerman, you got to try and squeeze in here to that high lane as quick as you can. Right now, that white line is not your friend. It's kind of that middle groove, that high groove. Watch, you're going to see Brandon Browning here just carry a ton of momentum. I would not be surprised to see him on Devin Zimmerman's bumper as they enter turn 3.
Yeah, Dylan Patterson going down to the inside. Dylan is one of those guys, man, he just dives into that corner and prays that it sticks. And a lot of times that moves him up towards the front of the pack.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, he's carrying some good momentum there. Looks like Ryan Ducombe's on a little bit of a free fall through the field. I don't know if he's got any damage, but Patterson just now, kind of the first time we've really actually got to see somebody pass on the inside this evening.
Yeah, Devin Zimmerman stuck down there on the inside now. Let's see if he can make the same thing stick against Ducombe. Doesn't look like he'll be able to, and they'll all get lined right back up.
Yeah, and that's the best thing you can do right now. You know, Zimmerman just saw that little bobble there, and he wants to get to the inside of Ducombe. But I tell you what here, look at Brandon Browning. He's carrying a ton of momentum. He's going to throw the cross
through the grass.
Through the grass again, buddy. Like I said, I don't know how much traction there is in that grass down there, but if it's going to help that car turn a little more to the left when he gets to the corner, Browning's down there finding it. He makes a pass on the inside. So, Sean, I think you're starting to see that portion of the run where the tires are beginning to wear and the grooves are starting to kind of change a little bit. Different driving styles having different rewards on different lines.
Yeah, some great racing back here in about 6th through 9th place. But here we are with Daniel Bowdler kind of running away with this thing. He really wants that Speed Racing Network all-time wins record back.
Yeah, Sean, you know, it's kind of funny. Last week you had Jake Rowell, who had a very dominating performance in Phoenix, and just some late race bad luck had put him towards the back of the field, and he wound up going out Sunday night and just absolutely dominating in the Cup Series. And Daniel Bowdler, you know, he's had some great races this year and some races that very well he could have won, but right now, man, he is setting that thing for kill.
Yeah, so he is way out in front, almost 2 seconds now. Let's head back to that gaggle of cars one more time here. These 5 cars under a blanket, as you would say.
Not going to work. 3 wide is not going to work at this point in the race here, Sean. Yeah, they get filed back out, double and single file here. You cannot go, but I tell you what, look right there at Marshall Stanley. He was in that first wreck, went all the way to the back, and now he's got himself moved back up to a top 10 spot.
Man, this is the best race on the track right now. Except, you know what? Let's jump back just really quickly here. Let's take a look at Rhett Tucker. So April Post out there in the chat saying, let's go Rhett Tucker. So here he is. He dropped all the way back to 15, but it looks like he's finally got that car under control.
Yeah, Sean, and sometimes with that, between the tires equalizing and your nerves equalizing when you bounce off the wall like that, oh, man, I tell you what, these guys are just snaking left and right, up and down, and I can tell you for a fact, having a little bit of experience in these Xfinity cars this week, these guys are holding on for dear life right now.
Yeah, Bobby Anderson breaking out the Crow paint scheme again this week for the Xfinity Series, sponsored by Flavor Bomb is what it looks like there. Love that paint scheme. Good one.
I'll tell you one paint scheme right now, Sean, that I know the driver of it loves is Daniel Bowdler right now. He's out front, man. I'm watching his lap times, and he is outrunning Justin Boyles by anywhere between 1/10 to 4/10 of a second per lap. So that clean air right now paying all the dividends for Daniel Bowdler. I'm going to see when they come past the line this time. He outran Boyles by right at about 1/10 of a second. But the big thing that you stop and look at here, you can't stop and say, man, Boyles is out of it. You know, he's burned his stuff up, because that's just not the case. He's back here racing 2 wide as Tristan Bailey begins to kind of put some pressure on him, and Cole Martin as well. You know, a 2-second lead can give you almost a sense of clean air, and one of these guys can start sucking right back up to Bowdler at any moment.
You can see that lap, those interval times moving up and up and up every single lap, and again he gained another couple of tenths of a second there. So Daniel Bowdler's got this thing on a rails.
Yeah, and I tell you, Sean, you know, we kept mentioning the tires at the top of the show and how this track will eat through them. From the start of this run, Daniel Bowdler, he ran his fastest lap of the race, the second lap of this run, which was a 31.505. Now, that was just 18 laps ago. In 18 laps, these cars have fallen off almost 2 seconds a lap.
Yeah, that's why pit strategy and tire preservation are the 2 most important things here at Atlanta. And I think at some point here in the very near future, we're going to start getting some of those green flag pit stops.
Yeah, the big thing, Sean, you kind of got a double-edged sword here. You know, when it comes to pit stops, it's like you want to play the fuel strategy. You want to be the fastest cars out here, but it's not going to do you any good, in my opinion, under green to stop for tires 20 laps into a race. when you can go a lot longer. You're going to have to sit there. You're going to have to stay in the cockpit and kind of fight it out. You kind of got what you got right now, and if you're some of these guys a little further back, you're praying for a caution so you can come down and get some new rubber on the car. If you're Daniel Bowdler, you just want to see this thing go green the rest of the night.
Yeah, out there in the chat right now, Sergeant Pineapple First saying, let's go Zimmerman, air power. And those of you that don't know, Devin Zimmerman is active duty Air Force and a member of the Air Force gaming team, also sponsored by JDRF, trying to raise money for diabetes research. So we appreciate his service, Sergeant Pineapple First. We appreciate your service also. We also appreciate what Devin Zimmerman is doing to raise money for JDRF as well.
I'll tell you what, Sean, you talk about another good-looking paint scheme. Zimmerman's got one right there. I don't know who designed that paint scheme, but that honeycomb look, that's a cool-looking paint job. I
will tell you exactly who designed that. His name is Devin Zimmerman.
Well, I mean, you got to go through to get whatever type of credit you can, and man, that's a good-looking paint job. Like, it's so complex, but it's so simple, all in the same breath. Zimmerman down here on the low line looked like he was slowing down a little bit. He's going to pit road, Sean.
So he is going to be our first taker, actually second taker. Daniel Keith was already in, but looks like actually Mike Lepicki and Emerson Ardon lapped down. They came in last lap also. So Devin Zimmerman coming down on lap 36 here, one of the first ones to pit. So now it's just a matter of time before our leaders have to do the same.
Yeah, Sean, and right now, like I said, it's kind of a tough bed to lay in because, you've really pulled here all of about, 23, 24 laps under green. So in terms of actual gas, I mean, you're nowhere near your window to make it to the end of this race. But in terms of tires, sometimes you can go out there, you can get those brand new tires, you can start running those 2 seconds per lap faster, and you can draw everybody in just a panic to try and get it. And you can make yourself up 2, 3, 4, maybe even more seconds before everybody else pits. But if you're Devin Zimmerman right now, what you've now got to hope happens is you got to hope this race goes green and you can make up some of those spots. But at the same time, you're hoping that everybody is going to pit under those green as well.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick look at Devin Zimmerman compared to Daniel Bowdler as far as the lap times here. And you're going to see a huge discrepancy. Well, not there. Let's try a different one here. There you go. So you'll see that's a 47-second gap right now because that's when Zimmerman was pitting. But let's see what that gap is as they're starting to come across the line. It looks like Zimmerman has already picked up over half a second now on our leader.
Yeah, and Sean, here's the thing. You've had a couple guys that have come down for green flag pits. But here's the thing. Those guys may be on a strategy all their own. I don't know what the fuel mileage really was in terms of a full tank of gas this evening. Devin Zimmerman may have had some handling issues that he just thought he had to come and get the tires now, or else it was going to be a problem. But, if you're the rest of these leaders here, a lot of these guys are going to stay out as long as what they can here, Sean, especially if you're someone up front like Daniel Bowdler. But I tell you what, if you want to look at some lap times here, let's take a look at Daniel Bowdler compared to Tristan Bailey, because Tristan, he was back by almost about 3 seconds there, and last lap by, he's cut it down to about 2.3 seconds here.
I mean, it's been fairly consistent. Let's see what it looks like as they come across the line the next time around. But Daniel Bowdler right now, and you were just alluding to this, with this big of a lead, he's got a 2.5-second lead. Now is the time to stay out as long as you possibly can. Drain that tank, because what happens if everyone else pits, you have this huge lead, and then a caution comes out. Now you're a lap ahead of everybody.
Yeah, and that can be one of those things, Sean, and it's rare to see it. I mean, you're going to start seeing Dylan Patterson, a couple other guys, looks like Ryan DeCom back there, Danny Dow, Justin Boyles even. So now here's the thing. If you're Daniel Bowdler, you had some closer competition pit to you just now. You are now outrunning Tristan Bailey. I gave the anti-broadcaster's curse because he outran Bailey about 0.2 of a second the last couple laps. If you're Daniel Bowdler, you got to start going ahead and saying, okay, man, I don't want to pit this early, but it might be time to come get those 4 freshies.
And now a lot more leaders, Tristan Bailey, Cole Martin, Brandon Browning, all coming in. I'm sorry, not Brandon Browning. So, Marshall Stanley, Tristan Bailey, Cole Martin. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good, Sean. They're going to come down and get their service here, 4 tires and fuel. And if you're Daniel Bowdler, you got to pit this time, Sean. There is no two ways about it. You have got to get into these pits because you're going to start seeing everybody else pit. He's looking like he's going to stay out here, and he's got the 82 car right behind him on fresh tires. You just see the speed discrepancy. You can't stay out there this long if you're Bowdler. These tires are worth 2 seconds a lap. You had about a 2.5 second lead the last time by. Yeah. Once these things cycle, you could very well be 4, 5, 6 seconds back. So he has got to bring that 6 car to pit road here sooner than later.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to be bringing it in this time around. He just seems to be taking that line where he can get a little bit deeper down onto the corner. No, I am completely wrong. I don't know racing at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure of the strategy here, Sean. I don't know. Maybe he's sitting here thinking, because right now we've only got about 10 cars in the lead lap. Everybody else has come to pit. Right now, if you're Daniel Bowdler, you're sitting out there, the farthest away target, but you're still sitting there with a target painted on your back in terms of tires. And maybe he's hoping one of these guys messes up getting onto pit road. Maybe he's hoping one of these slower guys and one of these faster guys wind up getting into each other. But at the same time, Daniel Bowdler being the strategist that he is, I would not be stunned if he's trying to pull this thing just a little further to possibly get into a fuel window.
I'm not sure he can get into that fuel window. I mean, he last pitted on lap 8, and so if he pitted, let's say lap 48, that's still only a 40-lap run. That would only take him to lap 88 after that. So I don't understand the strategy here except for the possibility of a caution because his lap times are so much better than everybody else's.
Yeah, and another thing, Sean, is like we sit here, we're looking up in the booth, and, we both kind of got the driver's mentality. I think he might be coming this time. Nope, not again.
Neither of us know anything about racing.
No. As the driver, I don't know a thing. But, he might be also looking at it here, Sean, of he knows everybody else can't make it on fuel. He knows he's getting outrun here by a pretty substantial margin each lap. But he knows if he sticks this thing out for just a little bit longer, those tires are going to start to equalize. And when he comes to make his pit stop, he's going to start beating people by 2 and so seconds a lap. And then he'll be that rocket ship coming through the field. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens here.
Look at the time difference here between Bowdler and Zimmerman. Zimmerman, remember, was one of the first ones to pit, and so his lap times are 1.5 seconds better than Bowdler. But I think I'm starting to get this now. So Bowdler is staying out as long as he possibly can because this is Devin Zimmerman coming up on him. Zimmerman's a lap down. And so if Bowdler can wait a little bit longer, then he's going to gain 1.3 to 1.5 seconds per lap on the entire field.
Yeah, and like I said, Sean, sometimes those fresh tires and being the first guy with them, it can mean a ton as you begin to see Devin Zimmerman peek his nose here under Daniel Bowdler to go through and get it ready to get his lap back. If you're Daniel Bowdler, you got to stop and think. About 1.5 seconds per lap. It's going to take about 20 laps at that pace to go through and have Devin Zimmerman get back to him. Now, at that point in time, there's no way that Zimmerman's going to make it back to him before Daniel Bowdler has to pit. But once again, I do not know the fuel call tonight, Sean. I have no idea how many laps the driver can go.
Well, we're about to find out as Daniel Bowdler is now going to finally bring it in. Brandon Browning also still staying out. He last pitted on lap 8 as well. Oh, I think Bowdler may have gunned it through there.
Yeah, I don't know how fast he was. I'm going back to take a look here, Sean, at the commitment cone. I think he made it, buddy. I think he did. He barely got the thing down to pit road speed limit, but certainly he got it down there. So, the thing is you're going to be sitting here in pit road for a good little bit. You're going to be stuck down here. It's just kind of a matter right now of where you come out. I mean, I'm watching Devin Zimmerman at this point in the race. He just passed Daniel Bowdler at the start-finish line. So Zimmerman's going to race his way over to turn number 1 as Bowdler still sits on pit road, just left pit exit.
Yep, and now Brandon Browning, the last driver out here that has not pitted. This is lap number 42 now of his fuel run. He's got to be running out. I don't think you can stretch it. I just don't think you can stretch it far enough to make it a good, one more pit stop race.
Yeah, but the one thing you can do, Sean, as you begin to stretch it out a little bit, and these guys begin to spread out, is I'm not certain if Browning is out of fuel or if he's just taking a very, very conservative entrance to pit road.
I think he's out. Let's see if we can go online. Oh, yeah, he's out.
Yeah, he's sputtering now.
He ran it out of fuel.
Man, and the bad part is if you do that maybe another 400 or 500 yards down track, you get on pit road without really losing anything. But for Brandon Browning, he lost a lot right there. And I tell you, Sean, now that these guys have begun to cycle through, looks like here actually last time by Justin Boyles actually is going to cycle through to the lead.
Yep, Justin Boyles takes the lead. Dylan Patterson right behind him there in the 8, and then you get Devin Zimmerman. Now, Devin is on 6-lap older tires than Justin, so it's to be expected that Justin would be a little bit faster. And for those of you that are asking, because I know everybody is asking, let's find out where exactly Daniel Bowdler is. He's back here in 9th position, 7 seconds off the lead, and you're about to see this lead just go to nothing so quick.
Yeah, I'm super interested to see right here, Sean, because right now when I go through and look, the 6-second difference or the 6-lap difference between Justin Boyles and Devin Zimmerman. We saw Zimmerman look like he was going to go through and cycle through to the lead, and then we get that one shot, and Boyles is going right past him, but. Now you got Daniel Bowdler who's going to start trying to go through and eat into it. And it's not going to be a second and a half, anything like that. But it's going to be a few tenths each lap. And does Daniel get back up there in time before the next stop? I don't know. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see what those 4 new Goodyear Eagles feel like underneath them.
Yeah, on that graph that you can see on your screen right now, those top bars, how they're getting smaller and smaller, that is the lead between Justin Boyles and Daniel Bowdler, getting smaller and smaller. You can see the time ticking away there in the top center of that graph as well. It is just going to tick, tick, tick away.
Yeah, last time by, Bowdler was 6 seconds behind Justin Boyles. This time at the line, looks like that lead has been cut. He cut a second, 1.1 second. Off of Justin Boyles' time. So, Sean, we could sit there and talk and say, what in the world is Daniel Bowdler doing? But I think he saw that green type of run going and said, hey, I've got a big lead. Let him go ahead and eat some of it. Let him burn a little bit of it up here, and I'll just come back out and beat him with my fresh tires.
And look how he can just cut through everything because he has those fresh tires. He just drove right past Marshall Stanley like he was standing still.
And that's the crazy thing, Sean. We're not talking these are 20 laps. This isn't 30-lap tires. This is 5 and 10 laps difference in a set of tires and how much grip it gives.
And you can see now that gap has cut all the way down to 3.2 seconds. Daniel Bowdler is on the move, and he is gunning for James Holzer in that 42 right in front of him first.
Yeah, and I tell you, Sean, he's about to get into a little gaggle of cars here, so it's going to be interesting to see what that lead does. He cut another second off last time. But right now, he's got to make his moves very, very carefully. And I'll tell you another guy who's made some moves very, very carefully. If we go back here to the 10th position is Jovi Sagiped. He started almost shotgun over the field. 4 wide! Oh, my goodness. That is the situation you don't want stuck in at all there, Sean. But Daniel Bowdler with those 4 new tires, he said, I know how to get away from it. Let's drive away from it.
Man, he made it right through that thing. And so now Daniel Bowdler up in 4th position, only 2 seconds off the lead now. This is about to get really fun.
It definitely is, Sean, and I'm sorry I kind of floated back there as the action was getting ready to pick up for Daniel Bowdler. But Jovi Sagiped he started 31st in this race, and he just now made a pass for 9th. So I tell you what, as much speed as what Daniel is showing right now, Jovi's not backing out of this thing, man. He may very well be one to watch as we come down to this checkered flag.
Yeah, we got Daniel Bowdler. Now he's looking at Tristan Bailey, trying to find a way past him for 3rd place.
And he's going to drive that car to the bottom again, Sean, and see if he can't get this run down the back straightaway. He's going to put the slider on and move up right behind Dylan Patterson. And he said, you know what, I think I might have a 2-for-1 here as he goes to the inside.
Yep, and he is going to get that 2nd position now. And now he only has Justin Boyles in front of him, and Boyles is only half a second ahead.
Yeah, and if you're Boyles, you look at it here and you see Daniel Bowdler bearing down on you, but you don't look at it as so much of a terrible situation. You've gotten to get up here, got to lead some laps, got you some front running time here. But now the big thing is going to be with that front running time. how late are you going to wait to make your next and possibly final pit stop? Just knowing how fast Daniel Ballard came up, do you want to go ahead and go get your fresh tires now, try and ride it out to the end, or just kind of see what you've got here? He's not going to make it easy for Ballard to pass him, though. I'm going to say that now.
Well, so Daniel Ballard, it took him 12 laps from his pit stall until catching back up to the lead. And so if my math is correct on this, and
it probably isn't.
Yeah, probably not. But let's say that he pits on lap 88, then that's 12 laps away from the finish, and he could drive it all the way back through and win this race on fresh tires.
And that's going to depend, Sean, right? He caught him a lot of breaks that time by. A lot of guys knew, hey, he's coming with fresh tires. I don't have anything for him. You get down to that 12 laps, 10 laps, 5 laps to go. Some guys, even though they know that they're not faster, they're going to be a lot more willing to race with you at that point.
Yeah, looking back here a little bit further back in the pack, so Vincent Cortez back here in 10th place. He's up 7 positions, and he is trying to race with Jovi Sagiped in the number 3 on the outside. But right now, with his tires not being new like Daniel Ballard's, he is not going to make that stick. So Jovi has that preferred outside line right now.
Yeah, and he is flirting with that wall, Sean. He actually got into the turn 2 wall just a couple moments ago. Vincent was down on his inside, and I don't know if where Vincent was located, if it just kind of pulled some air off of Jovi's car, but he just got a little touch of the outside wall there, got super squirrely. And now you're going to see what I was talking about earlier, Sean. Vincent's going to try to set Jovi up to the outside, but Jovi just gets a little bit better of a run off that corner down the straightaway.
We're going to jump back even further here. So Emerson Ardon, who is currently in the playoff picture, we're not used to seeing him back in 25th position. So there must be something wrong with his car. He's back here racing with his teammate, Derek De Silva.
Yeah, I'm not certain, Sean. I didn't see any type of bumps, scrapes, anything like that. Once again, this track and this aerodynamic setup is so different than what these guys have been racing on all year long. It's kind of hard to tell what could have happened. And, here's the thing. Atlanta is a tough track. If Emerson has himself a hard night, he's got nothing to hang his hat on because, he's done very well this season. Sometimes you just got to take those mulligans and go with them.
Yeah, now up front, his teammate, Devin Zimmerman, in 7th position, getting tracked down by Marshall Stanley. Marshall has 6-lap fresher tires here, so he is going to make the pass. And so Devin's got to be thinking, okay, do I go ahead and bring it back into the pits a little bit early like I did last time?
Sean, I don't know, buddy. You just see you just see how bad you're getting beat up right now in terms of tires. And, you brought everybody else. I think if you're Devin Zimmerman, you've made your bed, you kind of have to lay in it. I think if you can go through and you can hold on to this car for another 10 laps, it might be worth going through to bring it in at that point. But right now, I think it's a hair too early to come down to try to stretch this thing to the end.
See, I think the difficult part here, and pitting early is a good strategy, especially if there are cautions and stuff like that to do that. But when you pit as early, man, somebody was coming right up on his tail there. But when you pit as early as what he did, now you have to start to think, man, I'm losing one and a half seconds per lap to these cars. And at some point, if I come in at the same time that they do, then I've done nothing but lose that time. So I think his strategy has to be to come in early.
Yeah, and kind of looking last time by here, Sean, our race leader Daniel Ballard ran a 33.103 lap time. And when it comes to Daniel Ballard's last lap time, he ran a 34.12. So he's sitting there about a second slower. As Ryan Ducombe looks like he might be the one to go ahead and play the game here, Sean, as he comes down to get 4 tires and fuel.
Yeah, that will likely be his last pit stop of the night. Now, if we get to the end and you're looking at green, white, checker flags, then that might play into Ryan Ducombe's favor, where he will come in and get the fresh tires while everybody else has to make that decision. And those fresh tires, look at what it does.
I tell you what, Sean, you just missed a heck of a pass here. Jovi Sagiped and Vincent Cortez just took Marshall Stanley 3 wide coming off of turn 4. Marshall was up by the wall, and I don't know if he just got a little gentle into the corner, but they kind of stuck it in there. And I tell you what, right there on the inside of Jovi, Nicholas Golan is making a move too. So right now, this little pack has some of the best battles I'm watching on track right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to go back and find that pass for us. In fact, I think I may have it. So let's take a look at that pass while we have a shot here. And Yeah, oh, they're looking at it 3 wide. They're considering it, and then Joby goes right through the wickets here.
Yeah, and look, Marshall didn't touch the ball anything. He just didn't quite get the best entry, and they just kind of split them 3 wide. And now you got it looks like pace lap, Sean, 2 by 2 by 2 coming down the front straightaway. Like I said, man, I mean, I don't know about you, Sean, but this has been some of the best actual on-track racing I think we have seen all season long.
Oh, yeah, with the exception of Daniel Bowdler just absolutely destroying everybody right now, 3.5 seconds ahead. The side-by-side racing has been incredible already.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's been great as Danny Dow comes down to the service of his pit crew. I tell you the one thing that I want to see if I'm Daniel Bowdler, I mean, right now you're pulling away from the field. His lead's about 3.5 seconds. He came so close, Sean, that last time to speeding on pit road. You cannot throw this race away on pit road. You can't do it.
Justin Boyles.
Yeah, Justin Boyles coming down here now. So, like I said, that's got to pull Daniel Bowdler here soon. If I'm Bowdler, I'm thinking about pitting maybe a little earlier than last time. I think I might give it another lap or two. But here, Sean, you're set up to the end on fuel. And if I'm Bowdler, you got nothing to lose. You've been the fastest car all night. Go ahead, come down pit road, take it. You don't want to have to fight through this field like you just did.
Yeah, and I said a little bit earlier, maybe he's going to hold out until the end to get those fresh tires. But if he pits right now with everybody else, then he maintains a 5-second lead on everybody else. That's a great strategy.
Yeah, I think it's the best strategy that he possibly could have. He knows he's been the fastest car all night, and he knows he has nothing to lose at this point. I mean, yes, he's running for the championship here in the Xfinity Series, but I just think right now his best strategy is not to stay out. Oh, we got one car looping it. Was that Justin Boyles got loose off pit road?
That was Boyles. We're going to go back and we're going to take a look and see what happened here with a wreck replay, even though it wasn't really technically a wreck, but brought to you by Sandwich Man Racing and Sports Memorabilia. He came off of pit road. I'm not sure what happened here. He's coming off of pit road and then tries to gun it and just loses it.
Just back in, yeah, Sean. I mean, right there, I'd love to take it on board just so that fans at home can hear what it's like when a car breaks loose on you. You don't so much have a seat of the pants feel, but he's going to pull off pit road here. He doesn't have any traction. His car is still yet to get traction. He's in first gear, and he's going to gun it off pit road, and when he does, there's a little bump right there, Sean. And I'd say probably got a little bit of rear wheel spin, couldn't get the thing to turn on him, and then just wound up going around. Devin Zimmerman just hit pit road, Sean.
And here we go. Devin Zimmerman with his last pit stop.
Last pit stop. Last green flag pit stop. Barring that yellow flag coming out, this is the last time these guys are going to come to the service of their pit crews.
And Daniel Bowdler just keeps extending that lead. It is up to 5.8 seconds now.
And with Justin Boyles having been your closest guy to you and him having the issues that he just had on pit road, that might make Bowdler a little more apt to stay out just a hair longer, Sean.
Yeah, and I mean, just to kind of put into perspective, and we'll see if we can make this work, but just to kind of put into perspective what kind of distance we're talking about here on track, let's see if we can't pull up the track map. I'm hoping we can. There it is. That is the distance on the track between Daniel Bowdler, the 6 car, and Tristan Bailey, the 86 car. That's 6 seconds. That is a lot of distance.
Yeah, Sean. I mean, you got to think here, given the fact that it takes right now at this stage roughly about 33 seconds to pull a lap around this 1.5-mile track, and on fresh tires, you're dealing with about 31 seconds. Bowdler is in a tough spot. Oh, that's close. You're looking here at that being darn near close to a fifth of the racetrack, in just that tiny little, just a few seconds there. That's how much gap he has put over this field.
Yeah, Daniel Bowdler is still leading this thing, but you've got a lot of cars that have already had their pit stops that are getting by him now to get that lap back, and that is a dangerous proposition for Daniel because, just those cars are so much faster, they gain so much track on you that sometimes they can't judge it very well.
Yeah, Sean, and Emerson Ardon just about had himself a moment. I believe Bowdler's coming to pit road. He sure is. Let's see if he can get onto a pit road just a little gentler this time. And he sure does, Sean. Perfection. Oh, he lights the rear tires up a little bit. I'm going to be interested to see if he got busted or not.
Well, we will find out from race control here shortly. But Tristan Bailey is going to take the lead. while Daniel Bowler is in the pits, but Tristan still has to pit. So does Marshall Stanley, who is right behind him. Actually, not right behind him. He's 5.5 seconds behind. But Bowler still only in 4th place, and he's sitting in the pits right now.
Yeah, Sean, if you're Daniel Bowler, now you got to hope for one thing and one thing only. This race goes green all the way to the end, because you got to get the most out of that fresh rubber as Tristan Bailey now hits pit road. He just knew he couldn't wait too awful long either.
Yeah, but here comes Marshall Stanley, who could have taken the lead there, but instead will go into pit road. Let's see. Oh, Brandon Browning stuck up top. Brad Davis cutting through the middle.
What a just sheer display of car control right there, Sean. I mean, you got that many guys coming past you, and you managed to stick it up there by the wall there and stay out of everyone's way. Brandon Browning out here right now leading this thing around, and he's that guy he's definitely hoping for that caution right now, Sean, because that would kind of shuffle this field up in the biggest, most glorious way possible.
Well, the other thing to think about now, Brandon Browning, he last pitted on lap 50. He had a 42-lap stint. Oh, and he's going to bring it in.
Yeah, Sean, he's going to bring it in there, and it looks like right behind him a little bit of tire lockup. Ryan Ducombe's going to go ahead and inherit this lead here now when he passes by the start-finish line this time. But with these guys, I mean, they definitely are coming to the end of that fuel cycle. And man, I tell you, this race has just clicked by so fast tonight. It's been awesome to see all this green flag racing.
Well, Ryan Ducombe last pitted on lap 65. Daniel Bowler has 11-lap newer tires. That's your difference between 1st and 2nd place. Daniel Bowler going to make it 3 wide, cut right through the wickets here, going through the middle, and he will make that pass on both cars.
Yeah, and it's a matter of risk and reward right now, Sean. With Daniel Bowler, he knew he had the fresh tires. He knew he could have made that pass if he wanted to, but he also knew he could have hung out for just a moment. But right now, he's got one goal in mind, and that's to make sure that he gets to that white flag as quick as possible to keep any type of on-track accident from having any effect at the end of this race.
Well, it has been pretty clean so far, and I know I probably just jinxed it by saying that only one caution tonight, all the way back on lap 6. And so it has been a great race by all of these drivers. Congratulations to them on having such a clean race.
Yeah, Sean, I'm just reading here from our producer. He just handed me a note that said cautions out from Phoenix last week. So I don't know what that means. But no, right now, this has just been an awesome race. Awesome job by these guys tonight. I was wondering what it was going to be like with all these guys on track, these different racing grooves. And Sean, I swear to you, I think this has probably been the best thing for this group of guys right now because, even though you have a very like-minded skill group, everybody drives these cars just a little bit differently. And I think this progressive track scan has gone through to really let guys drive the cars a little bit different than what they've been stuck to do for so long.
And out there in the chat, April Post, always rooting on Rhett Tucker, saying, let's go. Get it. He's back there in 7th place right now. Actually, he's back in 11th place right now. He's just kind of cycling through in the pits and stuff like that. So he is still hanging in there after he had a great race going, but just got involved. He got into the wall a little bit earlier this race, which kind of really hurt his chances.
And, someone else in the chat there, Sean, someone we're very familiar with in David Duke, bringing back some good old Monday Night Football nostalgia. He said, turn out the lights, the party is over.
Yeah, and you'll see on this next chat here, Thomas Rutherford, one of our great drivers from seasons past, saying that Duke says that Bowler is going to win by 13 seconds. And it looks like Rutherford says that he says 6 seconds.
Well, Sean, I know it's something that we normally talk about whilst under caution, but these guys have driven so well tonight. I think Daniel Bowler and, watching Rhett Tucker kind of come through the field the way he has, they're definitely trying to punch their names into the hat for draft picks for our All-Star race, don't you think?
Yes, they are. And, in fact, let's talk about that here really quick while we're having such a clean race here. So, draft day, Saturday, May the 1st, and I am telling you, there is some serious trash talking going on right now.
Oh yeah, Sean. Each and every day I jump in here and I get to see the messages between you and the other captains, and man, it's just it is hilarious for a bunch of guys that can't hold a car straight. Did I say that out loud? It's hilarious going in here, man, and it's all in good fun. And you know, we're gonna have that draft day May the 1st, and so many guys hoping to be those picks. And then a week later, we're gonna run qualifier races. Then the next night on Sunday, we're gonna actually have our All-Star race. Sean, we're hearing some whispers and rumors. I don't know how close it is to getting finalized, but we're looking into possibly, maybe on draft night, there possibly being another race, but not your All-Stars exactly involved. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, we're trying to figure out who's going to get the first draft pick, and so we've agreed that there's going to be a race of some sort. We haven't decided where or anything like that, but it will be myself, Adam Pettit, Jason Tripp, Danny Setzer out on track, and we'll probably have some other cars out there with us as well. I mean, 4-car race is no fun, so we might get a lot of people out there, but we're going to figure out who's going to get that first pick, and then all the strategy just starts going from there.
Yeah, Sean. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with just a full-blown street fight in the parking lot. And last man standing, gets to make their first pick. But I think we might be able to settle it in just a little more civil of a way here.
Well, what kind of a civil way are you thinking?
I think either just a poorly planned poker game. I am just one of those people who I'm about sheer chaos. I'd say go out there, get all your girlfriends and wives into the racing rig, and let them go out and just see who can put it together the most. We got one on the wall right there at the start-finish line.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who that was. Is that Derek De Silva? That's Derek De Silva back there in the number 24 car. Oh, I'm sorry, in the number 5 car.
Yeah, Sean, he just got a little high there. I think he was trying to give room and just gave a little bit too much and got up into the outside wall.
Now we got a little bit of racing going on here for 3rd and 4th. You got Patterson here, Dylan Patterson. Actually, it's not for 3rd and 4th, it's for 4th and 5th. Right behind him, Nick Goen, trying to find a way around him.
Yeah, Sean, and this is going to be the part where it's going to be, the hardest and the easiest. You're coming down to the end of the race. You don't have much time left to try and make those moves, so you got to get them while you can. But if your tires have been saved better than anyone's, you're going to know how to handle them. But right now, man, Daniel Badler, let's take a look through his windshield, see what he's looking at right now on that helmet cam, because I have a feeling he's looking at a whole lot of nothing. That is what every driver wants to see. Each and every race there, buddy. Nothing but clear skies in front of him, and he's got only 11 laps to go until he gets back into a tie with Jake Rowell for the most wins in Speed Racing Network history. And listen how long he's out of this throttle. I mean, he's just out of it. Just barely begins to kind of ease back in to try and turn this car. The front ends of these cars do not want to turn very well at all. As you look at his left side mirror, if you can see that little green dot behind him, you kind of see a car beginning to try and creep up, but nothing that's of any significance here to Daniel Badler. He knows that he's just setting sail, and right now he's maintaining the gap. He's pulling away by about 0.3 of a second. Like I said, if he can make it back around here for about another 5 minutes or so under green, he's going to go home and tie Jake Rowell again on those wins. Yeah, you could see how stable he had that car, which is tough to do here at Atlanta, especially on older tires. It's tough to keep that car just moving so stably and that steering wheel moving so stably. He's got this thing on lock. It's amazing. Yeah, Sean, and that's the best feeling as a driver. I feel like every driver out here. I hear some crashing. That's Danny Dow. Oh, they're going to get him pointed straight, Sean. I don't think we're going to get the yellow. Wow. I'm surprised that did not bring out a yellow. He was awfully slow there in the middle of the track. And now, he's going to have to get this thing going. Yeah, Sean, that car is hurt. It definitely is. And right now, oh, man, who was passing on the apron? That was Emerson Ardon. So Danny Dow going to get off the track here. Let's go back to a rec replay really quick and see what happened with him. I'm not really sure what that was. I'm actually not even seeing. There it is. Oh, he's just
super slow there. Let's back it up and find out what happened. It looks like him and...
Looks like he gets to the outside of Browning here. Or maybe Browning's going to go to his inside. He's got a little fresher tires. And then that 18, Anderson.
Him and Bobby Anderson, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, Sean, go back just a little bit. I think I know what happened. Do you have an overhead view of that by any chance?
I'm sure I can find one. Let's see if we can do that.
Yeah, right here. He
got in the wall.
Yeah, he got in the wall. He got, when Browning moved up in front of him, it kind of upset the front of the car just a little bit. And down the backstretch here at Atlanta, it's super bumpy anyway. Yeah, you kind of got to give that wall a little bit of respect or it will suck you into it the way that the track's banked. See, watch how Daniel Bowdler's running. You see how he's running about a half a lane off until he gets right to the end of the wall? And that's just because of how bumpy that is. And I think between a combination of Browning moving up in front of him, and that air hitting as well as just hitting those bumps naturally, kind of got that rear end a little upset. Just him and Bobby Anderson, the unfortunate victims of it there.
Well, we know that Daniel Bowdler is out front by 6 seconds, so Thomas Rutherford, right now, you're winning that bet, buddy. But James Holzer back here in second place, and he's showing why he's on top of the Cup Series standings. He's out here with a consistent race. Tristan Bailey here in third place having a great race. And then Cole Martin, our Truck Series winner from last night, up here in fourth. So 3 independent drivers coming in here and showing them how it's done.
Yeah, Sean, it's kind of funny. You know, you had mentioned a little earlier in the show Zachary Taylor, our points leader, not showing up tonight. Kind of makes you wonder in the grand scheme of things, had Zachary shown up here, would we be having all 3 series points leaders running into top 5 this evening in one race?
Which would have been absolutely amazing. It would have been really neat to see that. But Daniel Bowdler, not the points series, the points leader or anything like that. I think he is slotted into the playoffs currently, but tonight is going to help him get slotted in even more.
Yeah, Sean, he's sitting here going to come down to 3 laps to go here at Atlanta. And like I said, the practice has paid off this week. The knowing how to drive this car has paid off. And Daniel races dirt track in real life. And so right now, searching for these grooves, searching for this grip, you know, it's just kind of fun just to sit here and watch it, to watch these guys who know how to do it in real life be able to finally implement it into the sim.
Well, you know, I'm looking out there at the track right now, and currently there's not really one team that's standing out from any other team, but the best team out there right now as a whole looks like it's Rev Racing. They've got 4 guys in the top 20, but Tank Racing has 4 guys in the top 21. And so really close battle there, but Rev Racing needs those points to move up the standings.
Yes, Sean, those points are definitely going to be important tonight. And, you know, I think when you're everybody else, you know, this season, you kind of expected to see some cautions. You didn't really get them tonight, as Bowdler's going to pull up here to the back of Greg Olenek. He's going to come off turn 4, and the white flag is going to come out here at Atlanta. We have 1 lap to go from Atlanta, Georgia.
And he's got a 7.6 second lead on James Holzer. And so he is not going to try to make this pass on Greg Olenek at all. He is not going to put himself into that trouble. He is just going to relax, take his time. Now, we do have a car coming up really quick on his rear end here. Not sure who that is. That might be, I don't know who that is that's coming up. It looks like the 82. That's Michael York. But Michael York thought better of that and said, you know what, let's not ruin this thing. So Daniel Bowdler going to bring it home here at the Hotlanta 150.
Yeah, Sean, and looks like here, just after a race like that, last week you got your pick, and this week I got mine. We're 1-1 on each other now, buddy.
I don't want to hear anybody saying anything about a broadcaster's curse ever again, because the last 2 weeks we've picked it right. But while Daniel is going around with his victory lap, out there in the chat, Bruce Amsden saying Zach is at the Dirt Nationals in Bristol, I think, and Zach Taylor, a dirt driver in real life as well. So he is probably out there competing, and that's why he's not here.
It's pretty cool, Sean. I'll actually be there Saturday night to get to see these features events at Bristol. So I was hoping to be able to go tomorrow, but the schedule just didn't allow for it. As one thing the schedule did allow for, though, is Daniel Bowdler comes around here to the line. We're going to see that 6 car. 2 weeks in a row, you have brand new team affiliations that are going to have a very strong showing as he begins to burn that R&D Motorsports number 6 car to the ground.
Yeah, an incredible race by Daniel Bowdler, winning by 7.74 seconds. And so that is likely the largest lead that we've had that was not on a road course. So just complete dominance tonight.
Yeah, Sean, and that's definitely going to help the momentum. We had talked about it at the top of the show. Bowdler just having some bad luck this season. Probably should have had him a couple wins already, but you can never think about the what ifs in terms of the past of racing. You can only think about the what ifs in terms of the future. And right now, we don't have to say what if Daniel Bowdler doesn't win a race this season, because that number 6 is about to go here to victory lane.
Yeah, and he blew up that engine. So while he is still going to continue to celebrate just in his own private chat there, let's go through the standings or the race results here. So Daniel Bowdler for R&D Motorsports bringing it home. James Holzer in Independent and our points leader up in the Cup Series in second. Tristan Bailey in Independent as well in third. Cole Martin, our Truck Series winner, brings it home in fourth. So, I mean, that's a good showing for our Truck Series winner there. And then Nick Goen from Bronco Motorsports in fifth.
Yeah, Jovi Sagiped coming from all the way back in 31st at the start of the night here, Sean, to finish in 6th. Dylan Patterson's going to wind up scraping up a 7th place finish. Vincent Cortez in 8th. Devin Zimmerman for Tank Racing going to pull home a 9th place finish. He's going to finish the best for his team. And then two revved racing cars, Brad Davis and Marshall Stanley, coming in 10th and 11th.
Yep, Nathaniel Mon from Bronco Motorsports in 12th. Ryan Ducombe from Royal Smith Racing in 13th. Justin Boyles, an independent with that unfortunate looping incident right off of pit road, drops him all the way back to 14th. Then Joshua Siegfried from Rev Racing in 15th.
Yeah, Brandon Browning dropping down from the Cup Series to run this evening here. Going to come home in 16th. Had some great racing out on the track from him this evening. Michael Lepicki going to come home 17th. Rhett Tucker, after an unfortunate incident early on and just could not, unfortunately, Sean just couldn't get the caution to go through to get the track position back in 18th. Greg Olenek coming home in 19th, finally getting himself a top 20 finish this evening after so much bad luck. And rounding out your top 20 is Derek De Silva.
All right, well, let's see if we can get some interviews going here. And let's start off with Tristan Bailey, who came in third place in our race here tonight. Hey, Tristan, this is Sean and Dean up in the booth, buddy. How's it going?
It's going good, man. It's going good.
Man, that was a great race. I know Bowdler kind of dominated that thing, but you just had a nice, solid, clean race the entire way around. Tell us what it was like out there.
I never actually had the Atlanta track work really well on the high side, and that was probably the best high side track I've ran in a long time. You just had to use the bottom to at least save a little bit of right front for the whole run, because that first run, my right front was already at 58%, so it was kind of had to save it that second run, so it was fun.
Well, Tristan, it was definitely fun watching you guys out there. I had mentioned to Sean at the start of the night and mentioned to our viewers that, iRacing had gone through to finally give us the ability to do multi-groove racing, and tonight was really going to be the first big display of it. On a scale of 1 to 10, man, I mean, because we got to see the high line, the low line, the middle line, how was that multi-groove racing, and how did the track overall feel?
It was great. I mean, it was weird because if you tried... all three lines ran completely different. The high line, you only had to burp it just a little bit and you get back in the gas. The middle lane, you had to let it roll just a little bit and then you can finally get back in the gas. But the bottom lane, you if you wanted to save enough right front and run the bottom lane efficiently, you had to brake just a little bit getting in. But I mean, I think that was great to actually have different lanes to run. But once you got on older tires, the best lane really was to run like the middle or the high top. So it was kind of hard, navigating after you pitted, because all the old cars that were still on older tires were running the middle. So they're kind of in a way a little bit here and there.
Well, Tristan, you got yourself a great run this evening here as an independent. 2 independents in the top 3. I know you got that Bronco affiliation. So, Tristan, before we let you go here, anybody that you'd like to thank for this run this evening?
Man, just Sandwich Man, Racing Memorabilia and all that, where to go to for that, Shopify. And then, Shoney's, of course, one of our sponsors. And just got to thank Chris Massey and Brad Herbert for allowing me to come join the team.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure to watch you run out there, and congratulations on a great finish tonight. And we'll see you Sunday night when we go to the Cup Series here at Hotlanta as well. And hopefully you can take what you learned here tonight and bring it home to victory lane there.
I sure hope so, man. I need a solid finish in the Cup Series.
All right, buddy. Well, have a great night. Enjoy your celebration.
Thank you, man.
Well, Sean, let's get someone else with a little more Cup experience up here in the booth. Our actual Cup points leader, James Holzer, finishing second this evening.
Let's see if I can. Yeah, there he is. Let's bring him on up here. James Holzer, man, you're leading the points in the Cup Series, and then you drop down here to get a little bit of practice. What did you see out there on the track tonight?
Tight. I saw a lot of tight. I really didn't put a whole heck of a lot of practice in. It was kind of a last-second decision. I just saw in the chat that the guys were looking for Xfinity drivers, and I know we have 4 to step down, and I was looking to do the short track circuit for sure with Bristol, Richmond, and Martinsville here coming up. But figured Atlanta is going to be a really tricky track, and if you could figure out some similar things with like pit delta and other things like that, you can really take that and use that moving forward. And we got some damage on that. The only restart that we had, it jumped up to the outside, 3 wide on the outside. I'm not sure who it was, and just I don't know if I was being impatient, but I had to run, and you just kind of had to take it early in these Xfinity cars because they got so tight and it was hard to pass moving forward. So I just kind of ran out of room and pancaked the wall a little bit, and that little bit of damage just killed the right front and had no run off the exit of the corner. We were just parking on the high side and just trying to hold off every person we could behind us. And I wanted to stay out longer too on the tires, but considering we were running a little bit slower and we were tighter because of that right front damage, we had to bring it down probably about 5 or 6 laps earlier than I wanted to, and that allowed Bowder to stay out longer and have the tires and have the track position. So really just needed a caution. I think if we were on even set, I think it would have been, I think I could have hung with him. I don't know if I could have passed him, but, draft might have worked some mysterious things, But overall, super happy with our results in the Speed Racing Network Chevrolet. And we really made a good comeback considering what happened. And did not have a good qualifying start by any means. I really thought I was going to start higher than 11th. Really bluffed my first qualifying lap and then scraped the wall on the second. So didn't get anything for that one. But like I said, overall it was it's a pretty good race, and these Xfinity guys are nothing to mess around with. I mean, I think any of them can really go up in Cup and contend. Super talented field. So far, what I saw in the Xfinity, pretty much in and out. I think to have one caution for as push tight and as push loose as these cars are at this track, with very minimal practice with the new dynamic track layout, I think it's something to be proud of, not only as a overall league standing, but from a broadcast standpoint too, because we're obviously putting on a really, really good show for the fans to watch.
Definitely a great show out there. We enjoyed every single second of it. Only that one caution flag. But, talk to us about what your team's looking like up there in the Cup Series. Now that you've got this kind of data to go off of, what's the plan?
Especially with no fast repairs, don't push the car on exit. I'd rather you lift and lose like a half tenth than clip the wall. Even if you clip the right rear, because they're super sensitive on the Cup car. Just really got to keep all corners of that car clean, especially for the straightaway speed. But really just to bide your time. The high side is going to be the preferred groove after about 5 or 6 laps, and especially if you're going to pass somebody, even with the Cup cars being way more aero sensitive than the Xfinity cars, it's going to be, a lot easier to burn up the right front, trying to get after more than what you're worth. So, just trying to bide time and keep position on what you got, and just have the tires at the long run, and hope that the guys in front of you burn theirs up more, and just try to keep track position. Qualifying, is always at the 1.5 miles in the new Cup car too, is extremely important to have the track position pretty much at any 1.5 miles. So, I'm going to definitely relay some notes over to teammates, and was definitely finding some different lines to save some more tires as the race went on. Partially could have been because of more clean air and the pack was so much more spread away, but definitely got some delta to share with the team next week. And I think we fall down to P3 in points after last week. We all didn't really have that great of a run. Had an unfortunate circumstance and got involved with some contact with the lap car, but hey, that's what they make the throwaway races for. And I know we didn't make the first one, so that was 1, and 19th place was our first finish outside the top 10, which is 2. And with the short tracks up ahead, I definitely think there could be a third in there, because you just never know where calamity can happen. But definitely, I think we're in the right direction with our team, and definitely going to use this data to hopefully gain some space there on the Rowell Smith team there.
Well, man, it was a great race for you. Anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Of course, always thanks to the broadcast. You guys did a fantastic job. I can't wait to go back and rewatch it. Want to say thanks to Team SRN for giving me this opportunity to run such a fantastic league. Pretty much one of the best leagues when it comes to fixed racing. Cleanliness, Good attitude in the chats, always working together as a team to be better. And I really think that's what makes the league succeed. And I think that's why we do a great job. Also want to thank Extreme Sim Racing, Dirty Racing Podcast, and JP Designs for making this fantastic car for this Xfinity ride. And it was awesome racing. And we got 3 more races. I'm not sure if we're going to race Bristol or not yet, but definitely going to look to be on the schedule for Martinsville, which is my favorite short track, and Richmond, which also ranks right up there too. So really looking forward to it, Sean, and can't wait to see you back down here in a couple weeks, and we'll see you on Sunday over here on the Cup side. See if we can put it in victory lane.
All right, buddy. Well, enjoy tonight, and we will see you Sunday night.
Sounds good, Sean. Thank you.
All right. Let's see if we can get the winner, and now tied for the lead for most wins in Speed Racing Network history. Daniel Bowdler, we talked about this last night on the broadcast, saying how, Jake was 1 win better than you, and you said, man, I don't think I'm going to do anything with it. And here you are winning by 7.7 seconds. So what are you trying to pull here, man?
Man, I had no idea I could pull this off tonight. I honestly, no idea where it came from. I just kind of, I don't know. I got home from work today, and I felt really good about this race. Like I said, no idea why. Monday night when we did a little practice race, I was horrible. I mean, I was just really bad. I don't know how else to describe it, but tonight I don't know. It turned around for me, and everything was clicking. So, yeah, I mean, Jake, you're on notice here, man. No longer just the winningest Xfinity driver, man. I'm right there with you again for the winningest SRN driver. So step it up, bud.
Man, a call out like that is not an easy one to come back from here. Well, Bowdler, I can tell you here, I know that I'm excited for our race next week. I'm going to be running my final doubleheader of the season, and hopefully get to put one more Xfinity win in my column tonight. Man, me and Sean were talking at the top of the hour about how the multi-groove racing was going to come in, and man, I saw you work the bottom, the middle, the top. I mean, what line worked the best, or was it kind of just it changed every 5 or 10 laps or so?
I mean, really, going back and thinking about it, man, I really used about every lane that there was. If I was out in clean air by myself, I really entered really high, and I don't know, it was just working, letting that car roll through the center. And, I mean, it almost got to the point where it was like you felt like you were too late getting back to the gas, but you could really get back to it and keep that run off the corner. And I was watching Justin there when he was in my mirror, running that high line, and was really curious if he was going to get those big runs and be able to get up there to me. And I really stalled those out with the way I was running. So, I just kept trying to utilize that the rest of the race, and it just didn't seem like anybody could, find another lane to make it work. So I guess a combination of all 3, iRacing got it right, man. They were the ticket tonight.
Sean, I think you can agree. Probably one of the most exciting things we got to see this evening was, Daniel, when you made your first green flag pit stop, you had waited a little longer than everybody else, and you came out about 12 seconds behind, and just lap after lap, just ticked that margin down a second, 2 seconds, until you were back out in the lead. And we were sitting there at the end of the race, man, going, when's he going to pit? When's he going to pit? When's he going to pit? And it was just crazy to get to see you maneuver 2, 3, almost 4 wide at one point, working your way back to the lead.
Yeah, it was a good time. I knew we were probably in pretty good shape there. Tires are so key at this track. I just felt like, this isn't a place to short pit too overly early. The biggest challenge was probably the second pit stop, just trying to time it out where, I pit late enough that I've got the tires on everybody, but yet you got to give yourself enough time to be able to make that ground back up that you gave up there. So that was kind of the challenge. When I saw Justin pit, I decided I was going to give him 5 laps on his tires and then come back out, and that should have gave me, about 22 laps to run him back down, and I felt like that was going to be good enough. Fortunately, I guess he must have had some trouble or something, because I never really had to ever get back by him. So not really sure what happened to him. Kind of a bummer. He was having a good run tonight, but just really glad to get Sparkle and Shine in Victory Lane finally this season. They've been good enough to sponsor me this season, so definitely glad to get them in Victory Lane here.
Well, is there anybody else you'd like to thank tonight before we let you get back to celebrating?
I thank David Duke, and everybody with SRN and R&D. We all work together pretty good to get things figured out and get everybody doing better. All you guys here, you guys with the broadcast, just everybody that helped makes this go around, and all the sponsors for the SRN series here. So I know I forget them all by name here, but that's kind of my downfall when it comes to these interviews, man. I'm so excited. I can't even think of everything right now.
Well, buddy, you don't have to think about it at all. Congrats to you here, and like I said, just an awesome win to go through and pull it out this evening. Daniel Bowdler here in Victory Lane, your winner of the Hotlanta 150. Congrats again, Daniel.
Thanks.
All right, man. Have a great night.
You.
So we're going to drop him right back down into his chat, and then let's talk about next week's race. We're actually headed to Rocky Top for Bristol. Man, this is one of the most fun. Oh no,
I'm sorry. Did I do that?
Yes, you can hear Rocky Top coming over the top there. It's going to be such a fun race. Bristol is always a lot of fun, but there's definitely going to be some contact. I doubt seriously we'll have the green flag runs that we had this week.
Yeah, Sean, Bristol, I was fortunate enough last year to win my very first race with SRN at that time, Mid-South Madness at Bristol Motor Speedway. Hands down my favorite racetrack on the circuit, without a shadow of a doubt. I have every intention on being there next Thursday night, so unfortunately I won't be up here with the booth with you then, Sean, but I'm definitely going to go out there and give it everything I've got next Thursday to defend that win.
Well, don't look too far forward on that, because you've got another race to get to, buddy. You've got the Hotlanta 200 at Atlanta Motor Speedway this Sunday, where Dean Brummett, Jake Rowell, and company are going to try to extend their points lead for Royal Smith Racing.
Yeah, Sean, it's going to be a blast, buddy. I mean, I don't know if we're going to have the same green flag racing that we had this evening. I don't know quite how the cars are going to change in terms of their handling over an entire run, but if it's anything as clean and anything as green as what we saw this evening, you definitely want to go through and make sure you're one of the guys up front in that clean air, without a doubt.
Yeah, man, clean and green is what we got tonight, and that's what we love here at Speed Racing Network, where, man, for tonight, I appreciate you being here, definitely. I appreciate the great racing that we saw out there. We appreciate everybody out there in the chat joining in with us and having a good time and everything. But for myself, Sean Griffith, and Dean Brummett, and everybody here at Speed Racing Network, just reminding you to always go faster.